Good afternoon, good evening, hello, how are you? Okay, an interesting sentence, a difficult sentence. Why didn't that concern come up in this morning's meeting? Segunda persona. Because nobody raised it. Because nobody raised it. Nadie sacó el tema. Because nobody raised it. Nadie lo elevó. O sea, sobre el tapete de la reunión. Nadie lo sacó. Sacar un tema en una reunión is to bring up a subject or to raise. Now, la question is, aquí es, why didn't that concern? ¿Por qué? Bueno, voy a seguir. Why didn't that concern come up in this morning's meeting? Genitivo sajón con morning. En la reunión de esta mañana, in this morning's meeting. ¿Por qué no salió esa preocupación en la reunión de esta mañana? Why didn't that concern? De concernir, pero también concern es preocupación. Why didn't that concern come up? ¿Por qué no salió en la reunión? Porque nadie lo sacó. Because nobody raised it. Why didn't that concern come up in this morning's meeting? Because nobody raised it. All right, welcome back. Here we are, back together for another sentence. Okay, listen carefully. Why didn't that concern come up this morning in the meeting? Why didn't that concern come up in this morning's meeting? Well, because nobody raised it. Two people are speaking here. Person number one. Why didn't that concern come up in this morning's meeting? Person number two. Because nobody raised it. Why didn't that concern? Concern no es concernir ni atañer aquí. Concern es preocupación. Una sana preocupación, un asunto digno de cierta preocupación, pero no vamos a interrumpir el sueño por ello. A concern. Why didn't that concern? ¿Por qué no surgió esa preocupación esta mañana en la reunión de esta mañana? Why didn't that concern come up? To come up, o sea, venir arriba, o sea, surgir, salir en una reunión. ¿Por qué no salió ese tema? ¿Por qué no salió esa preocupación? Why didn't that concern subir a la superficie? Come up. Why didn't that concern come up? Yes, this morning. In this morning's meeting. Because nobody raised it.
Okay, Harriet, yes. Whatever you say. Yes, I'll be right there. Okay, bye. For God's sake, Harriet says some sort of problem has come up in her weekly meeting with the boss. You know, there are always problems and difficulties and issues coming up in her meetings. I think she's probably exaggerating. I don't think any sort of issue has come up at all. What do you think? Do you think some problem has come up? Or do you think she's just exaggerating? Yeah, that's what I think too. I don't think I'm going to do anything about it. I'm going to keep cleaning and do my job. A problem has come up. No kind of issue has come up. Oh. What's Felicity? Hello, Felicity? Yes, she called me too. Yes, she said some sort of problem has come up. What? I'll be right there. Oh no, a problem has come up. She says she's thinking of firing me. I have to go.
Okay, let's look at number two, part two of this sentence. Let's begin from the beginning. Why didn't that concern come up in this morning's meeting? Well, because nobody raised it. Why didn't that concern come up in this morning's meeting? Aquí uso morning con genitivo sajón. En la reunión de esta mañana, como si la reunión perteneciera a una persona que se llama this morning. Peter's meeting, John's meeting, this morning's meeting. O sea, tratamos a los conceptos como morning también como persona, en este caso con el genitivo sajón, con la S, apóstrofe S. Why didn't that concern, esa preocupación, come up in this morning's meeting, in yesterday's meeting, in tomorrow's meeting, in next week's meeting, in last year's figures, las cifras del pasado año, last year's, apóstrofe S, last year's figures, next year's budget, this year's budget, this morning's meeting. Why didn't that subject, or why didn't that concern come up in this morning's meeting? It should have come up, but it didn't. Why didn't it come up in this morning's meeting?
Oh, this morning's meeting has left me with a terrible headache. This morning's meeting was supposed to be about the new procedures. This morning's meeting was supposed to be important. This morning's meeting was supposed to be great. But instead, it was full of the usual staff complaints. Say it with me at home. This morning's meeting. That's right, we don't say the meeting of this morning. This morning's meeting. So this morning's meeting was ruined. The staff is making things very difficult for me. They're joining together to make things difficult for me. Oh, I haven't had a headache like this in weeks. It's terrible. You know what one of the complaints was and one of the suggestions today? Today they said they wanted to form a sindicato, a union. They're really trying to make things difficult for me. They ruined this morning's meeting. They completely ruined the meeting. But they are not going to ruin the meeting that I'm going to have this afternoon. That's right. I'm going to have a meeting this afternoon, and they will not ruin this afternoon's meeting.
Okay, welcome back. Part 3 of our sentence. Why didn't that concern come up in this morning's meeting? Well, because nobody raised it. To raise is elevar, hacer que algo suba, activando, to raise. Y un tema lo puedes sacar. Bueno, no ha salido tema porque nadie lo ha sacado. You know, the subject or the concern, la preocupación en este caso, didn't come up because nobody raised it. To raise a subject, to raise the concern, or to bring up. Yeah, to come up and to bring up. It's the same thing. Why didn't that concern come up in the meeting this morning? Or in this morning's meeting? Because nobody brought it up. Because nobody raised it. To raise. Raíz escrito. To raise, que es elevar. Activar para que se eleve. Nobody raised it. Nadie sacó el tema. And the word for today, dotado. Un niño dotado de una inteligencia abismal es gifted. La palabra gift es regalo. Y es como si fuera un regalo de Dios. O sea, ese chico es regalado, literalmente es gifted. Tiene un don de Dios. Es un chico dotado.
Hey, how's it going? Felicity and Margaret just told me that Harriet is thinking about firing people. What I don't understand is, if they already knew about it, why didn't they raise it in this morning's meeting? Yep, nobody raised it in the meeting. Did you hear that? Nobody raised it. Repeat it with me. Nobody raised it. It's true. Nobody raised it in the meeting. If you ask me, they should have raised it. Yeah, I mean, I always raise concerns and problems if I have them. I'm not scared of Harriet. To be honest, Margaret always raises things in the meetings. Why didn't she raise it this time? Why did nobody raise this concern? I mean, it's a big concern if they're going to fire people. I just don't understand why nobody raised it. Ah, of course, I know why nobody raised it. They're relying on me to raise it in the next meeting, yeah. They're relying on me to raise it so I can use my charm with Harriet. Yeah, I think that must be it. They're relying on me to use my charm to raise it in the next meeting.